Gossett to lead us in this evening's prayer, but somehow we miscommunicated with him. So I'm going to ask all of us to say the Lord's Prayer this evening, and we'll say the Protestants' prayer this evening. So, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thine is the power, glory, and honor. Amen.
Now and forever. Amen.
Amen. All right, council will come to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jerry, will you do a quick reminder for everybody to put it on mute? To put it on mute.
On mute.
I'll ask all of you out there if you'll please put your phones on mute. It'd be very helpful. Thank you. All right, we'll start off with a roll call.
Mr. Timmons?
Here.
Mr. Villamagna?
Here.
Mrs. Onyabuile?
Present.
Mr. Dressel?
Here.
Mrs. Hahn?
Here.
Mr. Paul?
Here.
And Mr. Petrella?
Here.
So moved, all members of council are present. I'll now call on Mrs. Hahn for the minutes.
Yes, I move that we approve the minutes of May 19, 2020 as written. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the minutes of May 19th, 2020 be accepted by roll call.
Mr. Timmons?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Aye.
Mrs. Onyabuile?
Yes.
Mr. Dressel?
Aye.
Mrs. Hahn?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
And Mr. Petrella?
Aye.
So moved, minutes of May 19, 2020 are accepted as written. We'll now move on to petitions and communications, Madam Clerk.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move on to ordinances and resolutions before City Council this evening, starting off with ordinance number 2020-28 by the Finance Committee of Mr. Paul, Mr. Dressel, and Mr. Timmons for its second reading.
Ordinance number 2020-28. An ordinance amending codified section 145.08 of the Administrative Code, travel expenses.
Thank you. Next is ordinance number 2020-29 by the Finance Committee of Mr. Paul, Mr. Dressel, and Mr. Timmons for its second reading.
Ordinance number 2020-29. An ordinance establishing the City of Steubenville's relocation policy.
All right, next we move on to ordinance number 2020-30 by the Finance Committee of Mr. Paul, Mr. Dressel, and Mr. Timmons for its second reading.
Ordinance number 2020-30. An ordinance establishing a written internal control policy for law enforcement trust fund accounts for the Steubenville Police Department.
And finally, ordinance number 2020-21 by council as a whole for its second reading.
Ordinance number 2020-31. An ordinance repealing section 145.04 of the codified ordinances of the City of Steubenville.
All right, that concludes ordinances and resolutions before City Council this evening. We'll now move on to reports from our standing committees, starting off with Mr. Timmons. Mr. Timmons.
Nothing this evening. I'll wait till miscellaneous. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Villamagna.
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Villamagna. Mrs. Anya Weebley.
I did attend the bus board their meeting last week, their transportation meeting, and I just wanted to report that they said that ridership is down 22% and that revenue is down. That, I'm not sure of the amount, but that when the health department clears it, that they will start their regular schedule. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Dressel.
Nothing this evening, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Dressel. Now move on to Mrs. Hahn.
Just one comment from Lori under Parks and Recreation. So she is working toward our being able to put out a call for volunteer help to spread mulch in the various parks. So when she gets a hold of the deposit of the mulch, she's going to let us know, and then we'll put out a call through the various media for anybody who's interested and willing to help us. So that won't be this coming week. It's going to be upcoming. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Hahn. I'll move on to Mr. Paul.
Yes, Your Honor. I have one item. Last week we were discussing Dresden Avenue, resurfacing Dresden Avenue. As you know, before Councilman DiLoretto left, we had moved that Dresden Avenue up because it was an unapproved road. Last week, Mr. Villamagna brought it up, and we were talking about Canterbury Road as well. I remember when we first started this program, we discussed having Canterbury Road as one of the roads that was unapproved. We wanted to put on the list, but we never really did officially make a motion for that. I know we've completed the alley that was Chestnut Alley. We completed Chestnut Alley. That was an unapproved road. We've done Epps Lane. We're working on Dresden. I would like to make a motion that we put Canterbury Road on the list, which like I said, I know we discussed it, but we never really made it official with a motion. So I'm making a motion that we put Canterbury Road on the unapproved list.
I second that, Mr. Paul.
Thank you.
We need to have a roll call for putting Canterbury Road on the unapproved list to be paved. So roll call.
Mr. Timmons?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Aye.
Mrs. Anya Buile?
Yes.
Mr. Dressel?
Aye.
Mrs. Hahn?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
And Mr. Petrella?
Aye.
So moved. Canterbury Road will be placed on the unapproved list for paving.
This is Scott. Can I ask a question?
Yes, Scott.
So, Willie, I don't recall, it's been so long since we set up the unimproved, the one-a-year thing, but are existing roads that are considered unimproved, for example, there's a part of Highland Avenue, North 10th, 11th, and 12th Street. There's like a block of Highland, and there's like 4 blocks of 10th, 11th, 12th above the PAC there. Do we need to put those on the list, or are they on it because they're existing roads that are considered unimproved?
Scott, I'm not quite sure if that would be part of CDBG or if we could also as well, because I know you've asked about Highland Avenue before. That
I'm sure it was both.
well, is what, Scott? CBD or CDBG or?
Yeah, it probably would. I'm just not sure if you can use those funds on unimproved.
Well, I mean, we can discuss this.
Okay.
Because I know, because I know that there's Mr. Timmons has a couple streets he would like to have taken care of, and I know Mrs. Oni Wheeley would like to do that.
Why don't we make a list?
We can do that.
Okay.
And we discussed having a list when we first discussed. I think it was like 3-4 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago, because we like I said, we had talked about Chestnut Alley. Then was Epps Lane. Then it was Dresden. So we can move forward with this, and I know Mr. Dolak would help us with this as well. So
Mayor.
Okay. I can gather up a list, and then we can make sure everybody's on there.
Ask you.
okay, thank you,
All right.
Scott.
I already have a list.
Okay. Well, let's put them all in.
I have a list.
Okay, we'll get it all into one. These are unimproved roads, to make sure we know that. So we'll do that. The improved roads are already on the list. So I'll send out a note, and we'll gather all the unimproved from each area.
The clerk of
And
council,
Asante, I have a map of all the unimproved roads if you want to see it.
Okay.
the clerk of council
I
would like
do.
to make a comment.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Council, before Yonk left, Dolak did make a list of all the unimproved streets, and I do believe I have a copy in my office. I will look for that. I was going to give it to you, but Yonk asked for one right before he left, and I remember Dolak gave it. I believe it's in each ward of the ones that are unimproved.
Okay. Once you send that out, and let's make sure it's not missing any.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Is that all, Mr. Paul?
I'd just like to thank all the council for helping me with Canterbury Road. I appreciate that. Thank you all, council. And yes, Your Honor, I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. We'll now move on to Mr. Petrella.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Petrella. That concludes reports from our committees. We'll now move on to reports from our administrative officers, starting off with our city manager, Mr. Mavromatis.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a current update for council on the number of cases. Again, my biggest concern naturally is Jefferson County. We're at 63. Belmont County's at 402, and Columbiana County's at 657. The reason I bring these two counties up because one's to our north and one's to our south, and you have travel that goes in between these two through Jefferson County. So it's still a concern. These numbers keep going up every week. So it's clearly this virus is out there, and it's dealing and it's covering a lot of areas here. June 8th is what I told you before, that I was going to open the city building up. June 6th is when we will have a company come in and spray the building down. And again, as all of you know, this just covers it for the day that it's spraying. The next day that it's open for business, it could very easily be compromised. But we're going to put things in place here to minimize in our building here. Our employees are doing fine here. We have adequate equipment for them. For people that come into our building, they will go by the rules that we set up. And one of the ones that we're looking at, that anybody that comes into this building will be wearing a mask that has to deal with our people. Right now, if any of our employees have to go out and meet someone, they are gloved and they wear a mask. And then everybody is still being documented that comes into our building. One thing I wanted to bring up to council tonight, it was a matter of time, and I have brought this up before, and we're getting started on this, and I do have Mr. Lewis on the line tonight to go a little more in depth, but right now it's showing us to be a decrease of $407,951.66. Now this month is not over yet. We still could have some income in the next 3 days that are left here. But I wanted council to be aware of this, so this is the first of the starting of our shortness in our revenue. And Dave, if you could make a few comments to council, and if you have any questions, please ask. Dave Lewis?
Yes, sir. The number given was a decrease in income taxes. That's the money that comes in May, which is the money Rita collected in April. I wanted to tell you, keep in mind that the due date for local income taxes was extended from April 15th to July 15th. The part of that decrease, a large part of it, is related to the change in the due date. Collections for May are also one of the higher months because the April taxes being due on April 15th, and read it and turns over to the city in May. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? State your name.
Okay, I will keep council apprised of this, especially as we're going into our next 2 months here. Mr. Dressel, I have information on what you sent me today, and I will give you a phone call tomorrow. Ms. Hahn, on your text messages that you sent me tonight, I will give you a call tomorrow and discuss that with you. Mr. Petrella,
Okay.
based on your
Could
request,
I-
what's that? Who spoke?
Can I ask one quick question? This is Kimberly.
Yes.
Can I ask one quick question about Jefferson County? Do you have any idea how many of our 63 cases are in nursing homes?
I don't have that specifically. I can check and see. I know we've had a few cases there, as we had cases at the cancer center. But that is by no means where the majority of our cases have come from.
So,
Okay.
hey,
That
Kimberly,
would be,
this is,
yes.
if you go look on the coronavirus Ohio site, they do
Okay.
list nursing homes by county, because I don't think it's on the Jefferson County site.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment. I think we're doing pretty good because we're still under 100, and plus of those 60, did you say 63 cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. 63.
What, at least how many have recovered? Because, I think it'd be good to know those numbers too, because it shows existing cases and, cases that are no longer out there. So I think we're doing very well considering other counties.
They're listed on the health department.
Yes, we are, and we're still at 2 deaths in our county. So again, there's people that are on ventilators right now. I would not know the status of their cases, but they are on ventilators. So again, unless they're a death, you're actually looking at 61 cases out there that have not died, and that's very positive. But the bottom line is, our problem here is we're surrounded by counties that have significant numbers. And again, I caution people when they leave this county where they're going, know where they're going, and be careful when they come back here. So, again, our employees are out there every day. The last 90 days, they've been working here diligently. We've kept our employees supplied with what we need, their Clorox wipes, masks if they want them, rubber gloves. So we've done a pretty good job on protecting our family here. The wild card is once you open up for business, then you have the people coming in from outside. And that's where I want to keep ourselves protected from who comes out from outside. Mayor, that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mavromatis. I'll call on our law director, Mr. Mastros.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mastros. We'll now move on to Ms.
Hey, Mayor.
Yes.
This is Craig.
Yes.
Hey,
Craig.
Jim, you were going to say something to me, and you never got to it.
No, I was going to call you with other information pertaining to what we discussed, and I'll give you a call on that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to miscellaneous reports this evening, and signing in is Mrs. Anya Weebley.
I had a couple of things this evening. The JMHA meeting is tomorrow at 1:30, and I go to those, so I will be there tomorrow for that. It's at the JFK building. Also, I would like to give a shout out to the fire department, because on our street yesterday there was an incident where a grandmother had to be taken to a hospital, and there were 3 children that were left, the grandchildren, because they were with their grandmother, and the fire department stayed until the mother came and picked them up. They did their social distancing, they watched the house, and made sure the children were safe. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the fire department.
Thank you.
One other thing is, I know, we're having this ongoing discussion. I sent out an email showing some children kind of vandalizing the neighborhood a couple of weeks ago. And also last night I got a report of kids going up on people's properties, on their porches and on their trees, and looking for things to do. And I know, again, we are not the children's parents, but I think, we as a community maybe need to look at things for children to do this summer, because they've already been in the house for 2 months. It was 90 degrees today. Kids are kind of looking for something to do, and hopefully when things get a little more lax, that we can come up with some things for kids to do. We talk about Beatty Park, and there's water down there, and chances are kids are going to be in that water down there. So I'm just, putting it out for us to maybe discuss at a later time, maybe even revisit the pool, because the rules are changing constantly. I think there might even be something in the works where you won't be able to sue an entity if you get COVID. So, I just try to look at some things that we can do for children this summer. That's all.
Thank you, Mrs. Anya Weeblay. Thank you. Also signing in this evening under miscellaneous is Mr. Petrella.
Thank you, Your Honor. Couple things. One was, and I'm sure Jim's going to address this with me at a later date, the weeds and litter. But I'd like to know, when are we going to get back to council itself?
I think we discussed that, Mr. Petrola, that council would be back on the 9th.
9th? Okay.
Of June.
Is everything set up for the 9th? So we're all on social distancing, so on and so forth.
That's correct.
Okay. Could you send out to the council what some of the layout's going to look like, and so on and so forth?
Okay.
I mean, and how many people are going to be permitted at council, so on. So we have some idea of what to expect when we get back into council.
Sure. Yes.
And I've been driving my ward every night, looking at different situations. There are, once again, a lot of people out because of the warm weather and everything, and probably need high visibility of police on Pleasant Heights and Lake Bell, because it seems like people are congregating where they shouldn't be congregating at.
Okay.
That's about it for tonight.
Okay, Mr. Petrola, thank you. And lastly, signing in is Mr. Timmons.
Yes, I was contacted by a citizen about property. I'm not sure if it's in Craig or Santewas Ward. It's 741 Oakmont, and it's been abandoned for 5 years, is what they're telling me. But there's some activities going on in there. I'm gonna. Do we know which one? Whose is that? Is that Santewa or Craig?
I think that's mine.
Okay, after this, I will send an email, include you on it as Santewa, and then I'll include you on it. and I have some pictures as well, so we can see what we can do about this. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timmons. All right, we do not have anyone signing in under public forum this evening, so I'm going to call on Mr. Paul.
Yes, Your Honor. If there's no further business, I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that tonight's council meeting be adjourned by roll call.
Mr. Timmons?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Aye.
Mrs. Onyabuile?
Yes.
Mr. Dressel?
Aye.
Mrs. Hahn?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Petrella?
Did you say yes?
Yes.
So moved. Council meeting is adjourned. Thank all of you.